Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session which is on CAT 2020 busting the myths. This session is brought to you by me Nilanjan Dutta, a candidate percentiler from the topmost educators on Unacademy and Unacademy Plus for the CAT and MB exam segment. And in today's session, what I'll try to do is make sure that some of the popular myths that are going around which are not true, we bust them and we know where you focus more as far as your CAT 2020 preparations are concerned. The reason for doing this session is I've been noticing over the last several years there's a lot of popular wrong notions that circulate out in various social media groups and forums regarding CAT aspirants, and those tend to mislead aspirants a lot. So with that in mind, we'll move into today's session. Before that, I would just like to inform all of you that the live classes for CAT 20 have already started on unacademy.com/plus. The batch 1 has already started. Do make sure being part of the Score Booster Unacademy Plus courses. They can give your scores a plus 20, 25 marks boost. To be a part of these courses like the DILA course, then you have the Quants live classes as well, being conducted by me, a candidate percentiler. All you do is be a part of the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. It's available at unacademy.com/plus, where you need to go and select the 12 months subscription plan. Already it is at 58% off. Plus, if you're using the discount code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing, you'll get it at an even more cheaper price. You can either use the code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing, or you can use the code Nilanjan.yt while subscribing. Either of them will give you the best possible discount on an Academy Plus subscription, but do that as soon as possible so you do not miss out any further classes. And given that CAT is around 10-11 months away, it's always better to go for a 12-month subscription. Will cover you it's only till CAT, but the other management exams as well as a couple of GDPI sessions. So how do you get that discount? So what you do is you choose a subscription plan, then in the referral code section you enter the code Nilanjan Dutta with no space but in Nilanjan and Dutta in the code. Then you click on apply. It'll say apply successfully, and then the price will reduce and you are good to check out. So hope to see all of you attending each and every sessions for CAT 20. So we have CAT 20 sessions lined up the entire of this week. We have sessions on most of the days in this week, so do make sure you're attending each and every session. So let's get started with the first myth that we want to bust today. The first myth is as follows, and that is about 10-12 grad marks. So a lot of people you'll find in various groups and forums, they just keep posting things like, this is my 10, this is my 12, this is my graduation marks. What percentile do I need to crack a top B school? Do I have a chance at maybe an ABC? Do I have a chance at FMS? And so on. And this is where most aspirants end up wasting their precious preparation time. First thing, the criteria for 10-12 grads for top B schools change every year. So you cannot assume that based on your 10th graduation in a particular year, that is what will hold every year going forward. Second thing, can 10 marks be changed? No. Can 12 marks be changed? No. Graduation marks, maybe for those of you in final year of college, rest of you, again, no. But the most important thing that can help you land into a top B school, much more important than 10-12 grads, is your percentile. And believe me, if you get a good percentile, irrespective of your 10-12 graduations, you can get into a top 15 B school in India. So just focus on your percentile. And remember, this is something which is totally in your hands. Fussing so much about 10-12 graduation, getting opinions of different people on whether it will work or not, is just a sheer waste of time and creating another avenue of worry. Good morning, Khushi and Aditya. Instead, it's always wiser to put in or channelize all your efforts into getting a top percentile. That is all that matters as far as landing yourself in a B school. Having said that, if you're in the final year of college, you still have your graduation marks which you can improve. Try and do that. But for whatever thing which is past, there's no point thinking about it. I personally have seen several people, even at B schools like XLRI and so on, who had less than 60 in college. They had 5-pointers in college. There were people who were in the 60 to 65 in class 12 and so on, and they got admitted as well. So stop fussing too much with tentative graduation. Focus on your percentile. The next one is the aspirant base who have scored low in the last few years of CAT. So maybe CAT 17 has gone bad, CAT 18 has gone bad, CAT 19 has gone bad, and so on. Similarly, maybe the mock score is also bad, and you suddenly start believing that CAT is out of their league. Again, this kind of an assumption depends on whether you did your preparations smartly or not. I'll give you one simple example. So one of my Unacademy Plus students had a score of 20 in DILR. So less than 20 in fact in DILR of score, which obviously means he's not good in DILR. In fact, he was a non-engineer as well. Non-engineer, not good in DILR, getting less than 20 in CAT, and so on. He made sure that he enrolled for the Unacademy Plus course right away in the month of January, February, which means he had 12 months time to improve on DILR for the next CAT. All he did was started to look at more structured approaches to DILR sets, the way we instructed in our DILR live classes, tried to use the option-based approaches, and so on. Guess what he did in CAT the following year in DILR? He ended up with a 99.99 percentile in DILR, the Unacademy Plus student of mine. Now think about it. He always had the opportunity to assume that he's scoring so low in CAT, which means CAT is out of his league. And I'm sure most of you would say if somebody's scoring less than 20 in a section, then definitely it is out of his league. But that is where understanding how you can adopt a structured way, how you can adopt a more rationalized approach to attempting a paper can make so much of a difference. Suddenly when you look at the right hand side, you'll be like, no, this guy is also out of the league, but this guy is exceeding everybody, whereas this guy is totally bottom of the group. And that is where the difference lies. The same person can improve. I've seen people over the years who move from a 56 percentile to as high as 99.9 plus in their subsequent attempts at CAT. So you cannot just assume that because you've scored low in particular year of CAT or in particular mocks that CAT is out of your league. It's more about being there, putting in effort on a regular basis and trying and improving. The next one, only top UG college people can become CAT toppers. So again, there's this false perception that if you're an engineering student, you can only be a CAT topper if you're from an IIT or from maybe a BITS. One or two NITs might do. Otherwise, CAT toppers, not possible. Similarly, if you're from commerce and all those backgrounds, if you're from DU, maybe you can crack CAT. Rest, not that high chances. And this is where, again, there's a false perception. I agree with the fact that most of the 100 percentilers might be from such colleges. But if you look at people, every year there are a lot of people in the 99.7 plus mark, which is required for the ABC calls, who are from average engineering colleges as well, average science colleges, average commerce colleges as well. So do not just assume that just because you're not from a UG college, just because your UG entrances didn't go that great, it doesn't mean that you don't have a chance of doing well in CAT. Also remember, 10th graduation marks do matter, but which college you're from, that does not matter as far as getting a call is concerned. And even after that, what matters is how well you perform in your interview. The next myth is something that happens for the next 3 months after CAT results every year. You'll definitely come across some CAT topper or the other who has said in an interview somewhere in a newspaper article that he just prepared for the last 3 months. And seeing that, a lot of people believe that probably last 3 months is the solution to cracking CAT, and just because some topper who's from an IIT has done that, they start believing that they can relax now and pick up the preparations in the month of September. Now please understand, I personally recommend aspirants that CAT is something that you need to prepare for at least 12 to 15 months. It is not something that can be done in 3 months. Yes, somebody else might have done it, but you've got to understand is that somebody else might have already started with a very good aptitude level base. For the maximum aspirants, that may not be relevant, so going with a 12-month, 15-month program is always much more wiser. Which is why if you look at Unacademy Plus trends as well, you'll find those who have been subscribed for a 12-month subscription usually tend to perform better than those who've gone, much better than those who've gone for a 1 month or a 3-month subscription at the end, because of the continuous preparation journey. You might find some CAT topper saying that just maybe last 15 days preparation was enough. But you have to understand that that person might already have been very good at maths, he might already be very good at puzzles, he might already be very good with English, because for him it was much of a cakewalk. The same thing may not be holding for you, especially for people who've not had maybe maths since class 9, 11, 12 days. For them, you have to still stick there, grind it out your marks. Any questions thus far? So Kushi, if you're preparing for CAT 2021, are you part of the Unacademy Plus subscription? If not, what you can do is there's a 24-month subscription option. You can take a 24-month subscription option. You can use the same code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing. It's available on unacademy.com/plus. You'll find there's a 24-month subscription option. You can go for that. That'll cover you till GDPI of 2022. And you can use the discount code Nilanjan Dutta, no space with Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing. Okay? So do that as soon as possible, Kushi. Good morning, Zafar. The next myth that you'll find is that in various groups and forums you'll find people are only solving quants questions, especially questions around numbers, PNC probability and so on, because those are what comes across as interesting. Try posting a DILR set, people will not be so much interested because it involves time taking and stamina or effort. Try posting an RC, people won't be too interested because again it takes a lot of reading effort to solve. But the moment you start posting maybe a fill in the blanks question, a small para jumble, or maybe a numbers question, a PNC probability question, you'll find everybody is interested in solving the same. And this is again something that rubs off onto aspirants. They only start focusing on what they find as interesting areas of their preparation. But remember this, ultimately if you look at the exam day breakup, you'll find QA is all about arithmetic, algebra and geometry, which are very different from what your interesting areas are. The VRC section is 70% about RCs. Yes, RC may be boring. People who don't like reading much, they will not like the fact that they've got to read a huge passage and then move into questions. They would rather prefer to maybe do a 1 minute reading of 4 sentences and arrange them in parajumbles. That might seem more fun, but remember, this is what will fetch you marks as far as exam day is concerned. Singlets might be more interesting to solve because they're less time consuming. You can do it in 1-2 minutes, but ultimately it's the DLR caselets that come in on exam day. So again, focus on what is relevant for exam and not what seems interesting or fun to do. Any questions on any of the myths thus far? The next myth is that you'll find everybody starts looking for difficult questions, and whenever they come across difficult questions, the LOD3 questions, the even more challenging ones, what they'll do is they'll post them in various groups and forums for others to solve. And in the process, everybody gets more tensed up and worried because they are not being able to solve these difficult LOD3 questions. And this is again a major myth. Remember, if you look at CAT over the last couple of years, they have mostly looked at questions which are of LOD1 and LOD2 level of difficulty. Most of the exams that you'll be giving are on LOD1 and LOD2, which means easy to moderate level of difficulty. They do not have too many difficult questions. So while difficult questions, sets and passages might give you a kick or it might generate enthusiasm of your peers, remember that is not what you should be focusing on, because again that is not what will fetch you marks. Similarly, you'll find people, what they'll do is they'll take a question which can easily be solved using options, but they'll remove the options and they'll post it in a group or forum so that it becomes even more difficult for others to solve. Note, any question can be made infinitely difficult or infinitely calculation intensive, but that is not the purpose of the CAT authorities. CAT authorities will always try to ensure they give you a question which can be solved in 2 minutes time. So unnecessarily chasing the most difficult of questions is not going to help you as far as your CAT preparation is concerned. So do not get swayed by only looking at what is called difficult, challenging sets, passages and questions. The next myth that goes around is that people believe that sections are bifurcated. Engineers, they only can score well in QA, whereas VRC is considered to be an avenue for non-engineers to pick up their guns blazing. While maybe this is partly true, but you've got to understand this. Over the years, I've seen a lot of engineers who have been doing well in VRC, a lot of non-engineers doing well in QA. In fact, if you look at quants, there's no difference between what comes in CAT quants compared to whatever you studied in maths in school in 9 to 12, which automatically means whether you're an engineer or a non-engineer, it should not be much of a difference as far as quants is concerned. Hardly there's any topic or concept that is new in CAT compared to what you studied in class 9 to 12 in school. Similarly, whatever you're doing in verbal, I'm sure everybody had in school till class 12, they had reading comprehension and so on. So again, there is nothing much different from there. So stop having this notion that it's very difficult. VRC becomes very difficult for non-engineers. For engineers, QA becomes very difficult for others. Please stop having this notion, because remember, you can always do well provided you're preparing in a structured approach. Just make sure that you're understanding the concepts or the logic involved in solving any of the questions, be it a quant, DILR or verbal, and you will be good to go. The next myth is regarding which B school or institute is going to set the paper this year. So the last several years, it's been any one of the particular IIMs who have been given the charge of setting the paper, and the convener is from that B school. And the moment that news comes out in public, everybody is talking about the fact that, okay, this particular IIM is setting the paper this year, which means the paper will be of this type. For example, if IIM Calcutta is setting a paper, we will automatically assume that maths will be difficult, this will be difficult, this will be easy, and so on. I'm not saying that that trend never holds, but please note that there is no such correlation as such. Why? Because even though the same IIM might be hosting the paper, the conveners might be different. And if the convener is different, the mindset of setting the paper, which one to keep more level of difficulty higher and which one to keep it easier, would differ. So assuming that the paper level of difficulty would depend entirely on which institute is setting a paper is not true. So do not assume anything in that regard. Khushi, don't worry about the fact that you're a non-engineer. Just make sure that in quants, right from the start, you're understanding the concepts and you're preparing seriously, and you're attending every live session in quants over the next 24 months. That's all that will suffice for you, Khushi. The next one. A lot of the questions, if you look at in the recent years of CAT and the other MB exams, have been questions where the conventional approach of solving might involve a 4-5 minute long drawn approach. But most of those questions might have a parallel approach whereby you can solve the same question in maybe 30 seconds to maybe 1 minute. And it's very important that given that in CAT, you need to have on average solve questions in 2 minutes, that you master solving questions by these quick 30-second shortcuts or 1 minute approaches. So practicing unnecessarily lengthy, detailed approaches is not wise. So those of you people who believe that this is wise, it's actually a myth. It's always better to practice shortcuts and solve questions. But yes, the shortcuts should be things that can work not only for a particular question, but for a larger base of questions. The next myth, and the last myth that we'll be discussing, is this popular wrong notion that you should attempt questions only if you are 100% sure. And the reason why I say that is negative marking. But believe me, this is again a myth. Why? Because if you look at the marking pattern, it's a +3 -1 marking scheme, which means the positive side is 3 times the negative side. So even if you are in a 50-50 situation, what happens is it averages out to 0.5 into +3 minus 0.5 into 1, which comes out to be +1 as your net score, which means even if 50-50 situation, if you take a chance, your net score is actually increasing by 1. So always remember this. You need not be 100% sure to attempt questions, even if you are 50% sure. In fact, even if you have been able to eliminate one option, you should go ahead and mark the answer. Because remember, if you're not attempting enough questions, there is no way you can crack the exam at all. So the first step is attempting questions, because remember, accuracy is something which is not in anybody's hands. So you can never ensure that you'll get all 100% questions correct that you've attempted, but what you can ensure is if you increase your base of number of questions attempted, you can make your job a lot simpler as far as getting a good score. So these are some of the key myths that aspirants need to deal with. Any questions, anybody, on any of these myths? I'll just take you through the myths once again. This was the 10th myth, 9th myth, 8th one, 7th, 6th, 5th myth, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st myth. So with that in mind, gentle reminder to everybody that CAT-20 live classes have already started. So those of you who are preparing for CAT-20, go for a 12-month subscription plan. Those who are preparing for CAT-21, go for the 24 months subscription plan on Unacademy Plus. Batch 1 has already just started, so do make sure you're not missing out any further classes. You're enrolling as soon as possible to the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. You can use the discount code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing. So all those are paying for Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. Make sure you're looking at a 12-month, that is this one, or a 24-month subscription. Note the prices will be even less than the prices quoted here if you use the discount code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing. But be careful that there's no space between Nilanjan and Dutta in the discount code that you are using. Also, although you're confused or want to ask any queries regarding the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription, can reach out to me via the CAT preparation Facebook and WhatsApp groups. So all those who have any queries can reach out to me on this number. I'll add you to the CAT preparation Facebook and WhatsApp groups. And if you have any queries regarding CAT subscription, you can do that so you can be a part of all the courses. Just make sure that once you subscribe, you're letting me know at this number that you subscribe so I can add you to the individual courses as part of the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. That'll include not just the DRI live classes, but also the Quants live classes and also the VRC section, all of them to be taken by top educators on Unacademy Plus. So how do you get a discount? You choose a subscription plan, either 12-month or a 24-month subscription plan. Here in the referral code section, you enter the code Nilanjan Dutta while subscribing. Remember, there's no space between Nilanjan and Dutta in the code. You click on apply, it'll say apply successfully, and then the price will reduce, and then you can check out. But do make sure you're subscribing as soon as possible and you're not missing out any further classes on Unacademy Plus. So hope the session has helped a lot of you in busting the myths that you had regarding preparations. Do make sure that all of you are sharing this video as much as possible and are being part of the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription as soon as possible. You can let me know at this number in case you have any doubts in the Unacademy Plus CAT subscription. On that note, all the very best to all of you. Keep calm and bell the cat.